We might be a day late for unfortunate reasons, but we're back with the YouTube audience here to talk about another episode of Attack on Titan. It came out a day and a half ago or about, so a day and a half ago where we are now. We are later than usual. Yesterday I did do a stream where we did talk about the episode. It was real bad. I didn't want to upload it. So today we got something special. Hopefully Twitch chat is saying hello. You should be here in Twitch chat every week. Usually at the same time, even though this isn't at the same time. We're going to be talking to Mr. R, who makes Attack on Titan videos sometimes on his own channel. Regular chatter. We're doing a similar thing we did with this Bacon video on Vinland Saga. So if you're a Vinland Saga boy, go and check out this. We're going to be in call, finally downloaded Discord, and hopefully it'll just be better overall. That being said, let's bring him in. Don't want to do a video call. Do want to do a voice call. Hopefully my mic is set up and everything. I see white. Does that mean calling? That doesn't mean speaking, does it? Or can I not hear Mr. R? With Bacon it went smoothly, but I cannot hear Mr. R at the time being. So Chad, it's your job to entertain the YouTube audience.
Hello?
Hello. We can hear.
Perfect.
Oh, can we?
Switch
Yeah.
over to my other window now, so chat can hear you.
Oh, yes. Mr. R is also streaming. I didn't tell the YouTube audience that yet, but here we are. We're ready. We're going.
Chat, say hello to Kyle.
Yes, be very nice. Should I have your chat up or something? I don't know if I have. Well, I can't because I look at chat on my phone anyway. If I had a proper setup.
A couple of my chat. Bacon's in my chat, by the way, just so you.
Well, that might be rights to sue. Yeah. Bacon, if he was caught up, he could be here with us. If he gets caught up by next week, maybe we'll invite him. And if he's nice. But, so, generally, should we do introductions of what our thoughts are generally on the anime? Because I know you, even last season, or part, because we've split our seasons into two, you were very positive even then when even I was a bit negative. Now we're both, I think, on the same train of being rather positive about this new part. So do you want to give your overall thoughts on the adaptation and how it's led up to this, especially with the Mappa saga?
Yeah, I mean, as you say, I've always been a bit positive. Funnily enough, in my sort of group of friends where we do the chat, I'm considered the most negative one overall, if you can believe it. Because I'm a big, I'm still a manga boy at the end of the day. Like, I still think the manga is.
I did see your sacrilegious. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Tweet about how you thought the Grisha scene was better in the anime. In fact,
that was what. Yeah, that was one exception, I think, or better. I don't know. I'll need to, maybe I guess we'll need to look over the pages again as we go through it, just to be sure. But it was very well done. That episode in particular was really well done. And it seems like there's been this sort of weird thing over the last few episodes where it feels almost like it's been made by created by different directors. You know how like when you watch like other shows like Game of Thrones or whatever, you get that sort of different style from each of them. It's felt like that for the last few, which has been really interesting because I would say the previous seasons, even like both Wit and Mappa, there was like that very consistent sort of style throughout.
The yesterday in chat, because I don't think you were in chat yesterday, chat did point out to me that I actually made this connection before they pointed this out to me, but I said some of the shots in this episode looked like Death Note shots from the last episode. I don't know if you've seen Death Note.
I've seen bits of Death Note.
All right. So are you wary of spoilers for Death Note?
Oh no, I've read it.
Okay. So in the last episode, Light freaks out a little bit, and it's animated in a very specific way. The way Grisha freaks out in the episode, and some of the Eren faces, look very much like Death Note. And I actually pointed that out about how it looks like Light's like, what do you call it? Not a deconstruction, but when he falls apart. And then somebody in chat said that animator that worked on that episode worked on this episode. So.
Oh, really? Oh, that's really cool.
And I don't think traditionally he has. I think he was maybe brought in for this episode or maybe this season. So you're hitting the nail right on the head with that one. But yes, the directing has been the most interesting I think it ever has been for these last few episodes. Last time with the time stop and the sort of diorama thing, and then the key shot and all the I compared it to the Berserk scene last time. That was all really good. I really never expected Attack on Titan to have this sort of directorial influence, because as you said, it's been very consistent when it was with Wit or whatever.
My friends have sort of jumped once again back on the AOT, on the anime has overtaken the manga with the last couple of things. Like 119, like the 119 episode was very much in their view better than the manga. They feel like it was, one of them said it was a shot, there were some shots that could only be really truly captured in anime. I disagree with that take personally. I still think the manga did a phenomenal job, and I think you brought it up in your stream, not having that shot of Gabby, that full shot of Gabby sort of, that was a bit of a misstep.
I was very hawkish on this, even maybe a few months ago, and definitely before that, especially if you've ever seen my Vinland Saga video, about how manga is always better than anime or whatever. I've definitely changed on that a lot. I feel like now, because I see some things and I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. And I sort of just entirely separate them at this point. I don't try to compare them of which one was better or which one was worse. I definitely was doing that last part. I think it's just generally better to do things like that, especially I feel like I've gotten much more positive over the course of my YouTube journey here, so I like to look at even if like the Gabby thing, I like that in the manga, but I still see them as different things. So like maybe having the Gabby shot wasn't right for the anime or something. I still prefer the manga generally, but that's what I saw first, and I generally think that's how people operate. But
I think for the most part, although there is what is it? If you do want an anime that is just in every way better than the manga, go watch K-On! Everyone go watch K-On!
Yeah, I've even heard B talk about that, the former Digibro. They talked about that in their video, their old K-On! Videos.
Yeah, I put the Gabby shot in question up on screen.
Yeah. The crying.
Bacon's.
What is Bacon doing?
I mean, Bacon's saying that the wit director for season 1 of Attack on Titan was apparently the director of Death Note.
That's true. I do remember. If you would ask me 5 years ago, I would have known his name. But yes, everybody that made originally when Attack on Titan was being hyped up, and like if you watch YouTube videos about Attack on Titan in 2013, is it Tetsuya Araki? That might be the guy, or maybe that's a different anime guy. But that was a lot of every YouTube video from 2013, I think, about Attack on Titan would start with, it's the Death Note director guy. But yeah. But I don't think chat was talking about a director. I think they were talking about an animator. The director's probably Animate. I don't know. Maybe they were talking about the same
guy. Or I guess
guy.
animation lead.
Yeah.
Presumably there was more than one animator in an episode.
Yes,
I'd be really worried about how much work they're having to do.
It does seem pretty consistently... I don't know, maybe you don't think this, but I think this part has been pretty consistently better, and I'm sure that just comes down to the fact that like they're more familiar with the material at this point. Like obviously they've learnt some things in the first part. I think they had more time. It would seem they had like a year and a half. I think
they had
compared to a year.
They had more time, and that will really have helped them with like their 3D.
Yeah.
With their 3D stuff as well, because like once a lot of their time in part 1 would have been creating those assets and getting them all ready.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't have the. Obviously, go ahead.
We know what's coming. We know what's coming in later chapters, so they'll obviously have all that work to do. But one thing I've been really impressed with is how much better the Beast Titan looks, because that was one of the things I was always really critical of for part 1. The Beast Titan looked like fucking ass in part 1.
Yeah, I haven't even noticed the Beast Titan, like the way he looks, which I think might be a good thing, because I definitely was shitting on the CGI a little bit back part 1 time.
Yeah, it's definitely improved. I think it is just a case of time. Like 3D.
Yeah.
To get the 3D looking good in an anime, you need the time, and I'm glad they finally had that. But part 1, they were so rushed to do that. Like they had. I think almost because of all the license issues, I think they had almost half the time that Wit would have had.
Yeah. It's insane. Now, to point out importantly, you would know more about the creative end of this, because you work on video games for a living, correct?
Yes, I do.
Yes. So, talking about assets and things like that, I was thinking about that. I was like, they had more time to create assets, but I didn't want to say that because I don't know if that's true, and I'd look like a ill-informed individual if I just said something like that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think originally I was still concerned over how they would do stuff like some of the stuff that's going to be in the Rumbling, but
Yeah.
considering I think the most intense stuff from the Rumbling is going to be in a film where they'll have more time and a huge budget, unless they're doing a season 4 final season part 3, which seems wild if that happens. But that really shows that in terms of what they actually have to do, they have to do the beginning of the Rumbling, and they have to do Eren's Titan, and they have to do Ymir's Titan for the next episode. But outside of that, I think the extra time it's really shone through how they've been able to allocate their resources, because that's all it is. Like, whenever you're looking at any kind of creative process, you've got 3 factors, and it's like time, cost, and quality, and you can only have 2 of the 3.
Yeah.
Really.
This used to be an old internet meme. Now I always bring it back to Ava. I apologize, but people used to always say that Ava ran out of money, and then a lot of things came out afterwards where YouTubers would make videos about. And I'm thinking again of B, but they would always make videos about how Ava didn't run out of money; they ran out of time, because Anno managed the time of the episodes wrong, and that's why the last 2 episodes of Ava are like that. So I think that seems to be a rule of a lot of the time it is time rather than money. I think people just assume it's a money issue a lot of the time.
I don't remember hearing anything about the budget. I mean, animators, especially probably in Japan, will be crunched to death to do the project, but I think in terms of the overall resources, they probably have most of what they need. They just didn't have the time to do it. There were shots coming out that were that felt unfinished, and if you've ever seen like any of the comparisons on YouTube, comparing the
Blu-rays,
like the Blu-rays to the TV releases, they clearly wanted to tweak a lot of stuff. But at the same time, if you go back and watch the comparisons, like hardly anyone will have seen this. If you watch the original season 1 before they had time to touch it up, it looked pretty jank as well. There's some.
I remember that was a meme at the time.
In that one.
That there was, I think it might have been episode 6 or something.
You cut out there, sorry.
Did I cut out? I think in like episode 6 in the first season, there was a big thing about how there was a shot that just wasn't finished, like more than just like it looked really bad or something. I remember that was a meme. But I'm reaching far back into the memory banks of this one. But yeah, it's always anime production, difficult thing.
You're cutting out a bit again.
Am I cutting out?
Do you think your car is failing?
That can't be possible. It has gone down 1 bar. Is stream lagging? Let me bring up the OBS here. Oh, it is 0 kilobytes per second. This cannot be good. YouTube, sorry for the hiccup. We're back. My internet fucked up a little bit, but we think we're back and good. Now, we were talking generally about the anime and how we feel about things, directorially, about some Death Note bloke. But we should probably start getting more specific into the episode. Now, I was going to rewatch the episode. I did scroll through it, but I didn't rewatch the whole thing today. So should we just go through chronologically through the chapter, or do you have any big points you want to hit on first?
I'm not sure I do have any big points. I was trying to remind myself which bits of the chapter they cut out. Like, obviously, we got the fleeting moment stuff. Obviously, some of 120 was covered in the previous episode. So the 120, the first half of 120 was actually covered in the previous episode.
Oh, this is actually something I wanted to hit on before. How do you keep up on these leaks very much? Or do you want to avoid talking about them?
Leaks for
the show,
for
like where the next episode supposedly ends, because chat was telling me this, and I don't know if you.
Oh, I don't mind discussing that. Yeah. I usually like to speculate and guess.
Wait, so you don't want to talk about it, or you?
No, I'm happy to talk about it and see where the speculation goes, because my guess would have been that it ends at the end of 122, but that could be.
Well, the thing is, every time chat has told me when something ends, it has come true. So these, I would assume, are spoilers.
That's fine.
So apparently, we do all of the Ymir stuff next episode, and we get to the speech, which means, because you were talking about potentially seeing the rumbling, we should see the first little bits of what the rumbling will look like at the end of next episode, with the panel where the walls crumble and Gabby and Eren, little Gabby's on the ground and Eren is transforming. I wanted to bring that up when you were talking about
Gabby being on the ground as Eren transforms, that's still 122.
Is it? Am I?
That's if you go to 122,
Yeah,
that's the
it is,
final
isn't
shot
it?
of 122. It's the giant. It's
And
Eren
then
sort of
yeah,
Titan starting to spawn.
and then
But yeah, I
this.
imagine we could get a bit of 123. A little bit of 123 could probably fit in
Oh,
there. It would just depend how much they want to put in.
the point is that the Mikasa stuff from 123 is not in the next episode. They skip over that, assumingly to do it later, which is weird. To get to the speech, to put the speech in this episode too. So we probably won't end on this Gabby shot, even though I really like it. We'll end on
Yeah,
the
I feel like
speech.
that would be the kind of. I mean, like I suppose if they want to end on the Eren Yeager speech, then that also makes sense because
It's a
there's
hell
not
of
a
an
huge
ending.
amount. Yeah,
Um,
it's definitely a hell of an end. I wonder how they're going to do that actual panel as well. By the way, because that panel is
the Devil
fucking
Man
wild.
panel. Yes, I love it. Oh, you're even on 120. I skipped all the way to 122. God, I did have a
Someone just
point.
followed. Who followed?
Shout him out.
Glutton Rules. Thank you for joining Squad 7. Thank you.
Um,
Welcome to the stream.
I think I'm trying to remember what I said yesterday because I was all over the place. It was a terrible stream. I talked a lot about the spatial framing of the shots I really liked in the episode, because obviously we are going through memories in this episode in these chapters. So the way like Eren, there's like the one shot of when there's two shots where Grisha supposedly sees Grisha and Eren, and then later when he's just talking to them at the end of the episode. The first one with Zeke, where Zeke is like standing in front of him, I really like how it's framed where Eren is behind him, so he just literally doesn't see Eren because he's not looking at him and Eren is out of shot. The way Eren is like leaning against the wall, something about that I really like. I think that is in the chapter. I'm trying to scroll down to it. That moment.
Is this in 120? Is this in
This is
120?
120, yes. Yeah, Eren is kind of in the back, but there are, because it's anime, right, you have to like construct the stage per se, and figure out where everybody is standing, whereas in manga it's just a bunch of little frames. There are a lot more wide shots in anime and things like that. I just like
At the same
how
time, though, I thought it was quite good.
no, go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, I don't know if you've seen the comparison videos from like that same shot from season 1 and how it's almost identical, and they didn't change the camera angles that much either. They still had to fit Eren and Zeke in those existing shots from all the way back in season. They obviously reanimated them to be in their style.
Yes, we actually watched a video about
they
this
had to like fit those.
On stream yesterday. That's actually not the scene I'm talking about. I'm talking about the one in the basement where
I've got that up on my stream. Yeah.
But the later scene from episode 1, there's little slight differences, but we literally had a video up that was showing them side by side. And I actually noticed that in the episode. Because I've seen episode 1 so many times, like the diagonal shot and things like that. It is really cool. That's a great little, like, you didn't have to do it that way, but they did. And it wasn't literally reusing.
They could have
things,
completely retconned it if they needed to.
Yes. There actually, if we skip down, that's actually in the next chapter. But if we skip to that shot, they do change the like structure of the shot of the infamous shot, if you will, of Grisha looking at Eren, and it's like he planned it the whole time shot. Where if you go back to chapter 1, Grisha's eyes are distorted. You don't see it from that angle, so you don't see Eren or whatever. In the anime, they're looking more front on to each other, but in the manga, it's a little more to diagonally, which I think kind of works better in the framing sense. So Carla and him are right next to each other, and Eren is to the side. That's just a little detail. I don't know why I was bringing that up. So,
no, it's cool. I mean, even if that was like the fact that it's sort of shrouded in chapter 1, like even if Isayama didn't know exactly what he was going to do this far on, it's kind of cool him leaving little hints for himself. It's kind of like what is it? Well, I mean, you saw the See You Later, and he clearly had certain visual sort of moments in his mind when he first started this, and sort of put in points where he could bring them up, even if he didn't know exactly how he would get there or what the final result of it would be. He clearly had these sorts of points. I don't know if you've ever heard George R. R. Martin talk about some of his process for Game of Thrones, but he had moments for stuff like that where he had like certain phrases or sort of imagined moments in his mind that he knew were gonna be a key part of the
eventually
key part of his story.
That all builds off of that, but particularly there's something I have trouble explaining this, and I was having trouble yesterday. But there is something about the framing that I like. It's like in the shot in 121. this one. I don't know. You probably don't have my stream up, but the one where it's Grisha revealing that he can see the future, and it's like framed so that Eren is in front of him. He's there, and then Zeke is kind of bewildered off in the background. I really like how they shot this in the anime. It felt very dramatic and very like it's almost like not like an album cover, but it's like the action panel of like where they're posing almost. I think it's really cute.
Yeah.
Should we just talk about?
I've got your stream up on my stream, by the way.
Yeah.
Just for reference. But I am sort of finding chapter pages as we talk about them.
We may as well just talk about the end part here with the Grisha and the Grisha freak out, because chat was rather negative yesterday. They were being pissy babies, but there's some, because I've seen a lot of very like high praise for this scene and some negative stuff about how Grisha's kind of overacting in this scene. Not this one that I've got up now. Also the a bit of censored violence here, but the Grisha freak out here. Now, he is making some wacky faces in the manga. I came down yesterday, I said I do generally like the way it looked. The animation in that scene, chat was even admitting, was very good. Maybe some of the performance from the voice actor was a little much, but go ahead.
See, I quite liked it. I mean, I'm trying to remember. So, like, because there were two bits of dialogue that I felt were almost conflicting. At this point, have the walls fallen?
Yes, we talked about this a lot.
Or is it on the verge?
We were all confused about this yesterday as well in chat. Because
if it has, it means he knows it's fallen, but he doesn't know about
Carla's death.
And he doesn't know about the fate of Carla, because he asked about Carla, but it's like, surely if he'd heard the wall had fallen, the first thing he'd have done is gone to check on his family.
We actually figured this out a little bit. Now, if you look at the shot, I don't know if it's up or down in the chapter. I think it is up. So Grisha gets on a boat. Is it up? Can I scroll up and find it? It has to be here. Now, it is here. Now, Grisha leaves. Now, originally, I thought Grisha says that he's going to the interior to check on a patient. Now, I originally thought that was a lie and that he had chosen that day to go see the Race family. But that's not true. I think he actually does have a patient in the interior and he's going to see them. And he gets on this boat. And if you look at this frame of the boat, it seems like everybody is getting off the boat and everybody's rushing up to them to give them the news. Now that means Grisha is already in the interior and this boat is not going back the other way. So he could transform theoretically and jump over the walls, but I think in this moment he realizes he knows the wall has fell, but he doesn't know how his family is, but he's very close, I assume, to the Race estate, which we know he already knows the location of. So he decides to go there instead and ask for help.
Right, that would make
this did take like 20 minutes to puzzle out on stream yesterday. But that being said, I feel like the implication, like 70 chapters ago, there's a shot in the anime, in episode 1, I think it is, where Grisha is rushing back and he's crying and he's clearly already heard. Now, this might be an anime-only thing that's fucking me up here. But it's the shot on Grisha on horseback and he's like, Carla, Eren, I hope you're safe. And clearly he's heard. Well, gross. He could have just been riding towards the Race estate. I think the implication, and it definitely how you're supposed to view it at the time, is like he's rushing back to them, because we know he ends up going back to, well, I guess they're not in Shigatchen, right? They would be in Trost, because we know he goes to get Eren and Shardis sees him, and then he goes off to give Eren the power. So I think it makes sense that he doesn't understand, that he doesn't know that Carla is. I guess if you want to point into plot holes, it would be like, in that situation, I think probably the best course of action would be to just transform, jump over the wall, and try and run, though that's probably a long time. You'd have to assume the boat trip was like a couple of hours. It depends, because he just says the interior, I think. So that could be like the third wall, or it could be Trost.
Yeah, I mean, I think so, because the Rice estate is inside the second wall, isn't it? It's not in the interior. It's inside
know. I don't think I remember. But I'll take your word.
I think it must be because it was heading towards the outer wall of the inner district, the Rod Rice Titan. So
yes, that is.
Yeah, true, I mean, I guess considering how little time passes between, because what happens? His dad goes out to see the client, and in that time, Eren gets into a fight, and then short to rescue Armin.
Yeah.
Or rather, the bullies run away when they see Mikasa. and then right after that we have the attack. So yeah,
Yes.
the news would have probably reached him, but then again, it also would have been impossible to find anyone in that kind of chaos, especially once the armored titan broke through the wall and just
Mm.
opened the floodgates.
That is true because Aaron's on a boat when Reiner breaks through, and the boat's already taken
Hmm.
off. So yeah, I think it makes sense, but it did have everybody confused yesterday. Um, more if we can talk instead of like the logistics of the scene, generally of the scene overall. Miller, I remember, was complaining about the dramatic music in this scene and how he really likes this moment with the "I love you" moment with Zeke, and he didn't picture dramatic music playing. I think it works. I think it fits a lot. I like that it's like carried over from the
Yeah,
previous scene. Go ahead. Go ahead.
so I thought that was an element. Again, there's some stuff the anime's done really well, like to do with like I think Grisha's voice actor has been
Yeah,
phenomenal. Like
especially the
the
last.
Zeke flashback
Yes,
chapter
yes,
after he got blown up. That I remember not being that I don't remember enjoying that chapter very
yes,
much,
yes.
but the episode was probably one of the best episodes of season 4 part 1.
Yeah, I
And
definitely
again,
think so.
I think it was Grisha's voice actor who carried that
Yeah, the
for the
big
most
the
part.
big
And again, we've
scream
got it here. Yeah.
when Zeke's
He's
outside
very
the
good at
door.
doing like that. He's very good at doing that sort of
Yeah,
that pained scream, I guess.
yeah.
That's
I did have a big thing yesterday where I complained about the anime tiers and how I like the manga one stream tiers rather than the double stream tiers, but that was just a little meme point. But it is interesting that they do the tiers differently. Um, they're both very thick though, which is a little weird. Also, I talked about I
yeah.
think last week when we were doing the thing, I was talking about how they were going to adapt the hand kiss because I really like how that's integrated into these like the backgrounds of these pages. And even the framing down here on
Yeah.
this one, where it's
Because
like
I guess
framed into here.
it's similar that they had to come up with like a solution
Yeah, I think the way
uh
they did it was really
similar
good,
to
by
like
the way.
what is it? Yeah, the way they did it in like the last episode as well was really good. Like because
Yeah.
previously it had just been like it was just like like the shattered
Oh yeah,
sort of
yeah.
almost like the shattered mirror effect. And yeah, I think like they're definitely finding interesting ways.
A lot. The framing and the directing is very interesting. I never thought Attack on Titan would have that engaging of directing. They've always had nice action animation and stuff like that, but I don't remember. Now I haven't watched like any of the other seasons in quite a while, but the directing has stood out as something like I would have put on a wish list and never imagined. That's really interesting, and
Hmm.
I like about it a lot about season 4, part 2. Um, about the
They've definitely, I think, yeah, they've definitely sort of found their footing. They've definitely found their footing a lot more.
yeah.
And if this is like sort of indicative of where we're going,
Oh,
then in theory, the next few episodes should all be stellar, and the movie will be
yeah.
phenomenal.
The fuck, I lost my point completely. Oh, I was gonna
No,
say
we're
the
saying the music is there to focus on the conflict with Eren rather than the emotion between Grisha and Zeke. In my
yeah,
opinion, I kind of get what you're saying, but I think it's all part of the wider sort of scene of what's happened. I mean, Grisha's still also. I mean, there's still a lot of conflict between Grisha and Zeke in
yeah.
general, like Grisha's internal conflict and Zeke's internal conflict and how he feels about his father.
I think the to get to the directing point a little bit, I think that Attack on Titan gets a little bit like it didn't always have these types of framing things like the Eren not Mikasa Historia stuff here. With like the hand grab and the vague Historia leaning out her hand. I think it might just be a reflection of like the manga gets a lot more creative and kind of abstract here, so the anime is doing a lot of interesting framing stuff. They might be it might be
Hmm.
inspired by the manga here, which I think is it's cool to like to try and meet the standard and get a bit wackier as Isayama gets a bit wackier. Now we'll definitely see this in the next episode with how abstract the Ymir stuff is, with how little dialogue there is. But yeah.
I'm just looking through. I don't know if you've got my stream up at the chapter. One thing that's quite interesting that the
We'll
just
get it
sort of
up.
trying to see that the anime had that the manga didn't. In the scene where he's kissing the hand just before going back to paths, there's a shot we get in the anime of Child Eren with that sort
Yes,
of
yes,
the I'm gonna
yes.
kill every last one of those animals.
There's God damn it, I put your goddamn URL in wrong. I can just click it here. Um
There's
Now
an
I
A
have your
in
stream
there,
up in
but
the background. Yes, yes. The hold on, what did you just say? Because I was about to go off of it.
this shot here, there's a scene in the anime of like
Oh
Child
yes,
Eren.
little Aaron. Yes, yes, yes.
It's like the sort of the super angry, shot from like chapter 2, I think. Let me
Yeah.
just get that up.
Oh, it's actually redone because I think I actually had this in my most recent Attack on Titan video. It's redone at the beginning of Return of Shinganshi, and I know the exact frame that they modeled it after. It would be like chapter 74 or something. But yes, it's a great shot. I like they were intersplicing cuts of Aaron's face a lot, which I really did like. Again, that's just like a cool little directorial thing. There was something else though. It was more specific that I wanted to go off of, but my brain is empty. Chat, you're aware of this. It was about the thing, and Miller said something about the dramatic music, and I guess we just got to get off it. Well, where do we go from here? We've kind of skipped to the big talking point. Generally, I think I really like the way they did this.
Yeah, for sure. I thought, I'm trying to think, is it the best episode of this half of the season so far? It's like 119, like the previous episode I also thought was really, really good. Like it's hard for me to make any kind of, it's hard for me to assess that one because chapter 119 is like literally one of my favorite chapters in the entire series. So it's really hard to judge the anime when I've got such strong sort of attachment to that chapter.
I think
this chapter,
yeah,
was just this chapter was something else. It was phenomenal. Like chapters that I tend not to, that I think are good and really interesting but aren't necessarily up in my favorites, they're the ones that I notice the most when the anime fucking pops off.
It seems to be consistently
like with the Zeke flashbacks
ones. Yeah
but again, I think that's because we brought up Zeke isn't that great a character in the manga. Like he's fine, but in the anime they've really put the work in to sort of cover up. And the thing is, I don't even think they've had to change that much. I think a lot of it's just been delivered by presumably the voice actor.
I say this.
I don't really know what's different.
Oh yeah. First off, on the episode thing, I think last week I said that the episode 3 I liked better than 4, but I can't remember episode 3 at all. What happened in episode 3? That would have been the one before last. It was
the one before last.
It was the Gabby one with the bird cage.
That was
okay. Or was that 2?
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I think like all of them.
How many episodes have we?
Wait, no, this is 4.
That would have been 2 because we just had 4.
Okay, yes. I was thinking this was 5, but it's not. 5 is next week. So I think I might have liked 2. I really liked all. I've liked them all, so I think they're all generally pretty consistent. I do really like the abstract shit we got last time with the with like Aaron's vision and the Mikasa running, and we see the Mikasa shot and then the key shot and then all that stuff. But that was I probably like that more. Another scene that I think we should hit on from this episode was the Mikasa one. This also hits on something you just said about the Zeke stuff being made better in the anime, or making up for it in some way. I've said this a lot in our previous reviews as well, and I said it a lot last night, about how anime generally makes things more obvious, I think, just in they can time music to it, they can do a dramatic sound cue or something to make you really hint on things, and it sort of hits you easier in the anime. I think that happens a lot with the Zeke, like more subtle panels, like when something is just like a bottom panel, your eyes can sort of skim over it as you're rushing to see the next page, whereas in the anime, they sort of everything gets the same sort of focus because everything is a wide frame instead of like manga where you chop it up and
absolutely.
panel
I get what you mean. Yeah.
Now, this specifically... Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm still gutted that they didn't have the shot of Zeke way back when Willie Tyber was giving his speech and said, I was born into this world.
Yeah.
Having the Zeke panel there in the manga was so fucking good because you don't even think about it the first time you read it.
It's good. It's good. I remember the panel.
But I think that would have been, again, because of the nature of like wide shots and high and focus, that's a tiny little bit of a page in the manga. Probably just wouldn't have worked on the big screen.
Potentially.
As like a focused shot, but
on the Mikasa scene here, there's a lot more movement seemingly in the scene in the episode that I like a lot, and also this is kind of what we're talking about here, where there's a shot of Eren looking at them here, but it's only small, whereas it's a wide shot in the anime, and it's just sort of Zeke's like, let's go, and we sort of freeze, we kind of get a sound cue, and it's like Eren is still looking. Clearly he has some sort of emotional attachment to his memories here with Mikasa. Again, it's made more obvious in the anime. Generally, I really liked this scene.
I want to see.
Yeah. generally I really like this Mikasa scene, and I can't remember exactly what I liked so much about it. I don't think this is the moment where Eren gives the deadpan like "you've convinced me." I think that's definitely earlier. That was another funny moment that I'm thinking of now.
Ooh,
Um,
I've just noticed something. If you scroll down a little bit, when Grisha, this is just
Off
completely out
topic.
of it. When he's surrounded by the happy kids, that he just goes up a little bit. There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that Flagle? Is that like child Flagle?
Flagle. Hold on. Who's
Uh,
Flagle? Is he the booze guy?
the Reeves, the Demo Reeves kid, the guy who takes over the Reeves company in the Royal Government arc.
Ah, the freckled kid?
That looks exactly like him as a kid.
Maybe. Is this a little
Am I
reference?
making this up? It's just a really wild sort of little thing.
Do you have my stream up? I am looking at the right kid, right? My
Yeah,
mouse is
yeah,
like,
that kid there.
he does have freckles. He's a little more handsome, this kid, than Flagle, but maybe. There are references to Kenny in this chapter.
It was just a
clearly...
really random
Yeah,
thing I looked
thought
up.
you
But I
just
think
said.
age wise it wouldn't make sense because if this is in
Yeah,
chronological order, then this would have been when Eren was 9.
yeah. Flagle looks a
And
little older than Eren,
unless
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't yeah, I don't think he's meant to be 15
No, no.
in season 3.
Yeah. God, they were.
It was just
15.
a funny thing there.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know if I have much more to say about the Mikasa scene. Scrolling through here, any other big scenes we want to hit on? Or directorial choices, or how they switch things up. Oh, I didn't mention yesterday that Frida came off a lot more crazy in the anime than I think she does here in the manga. Oh, another thing they focused on another thing before we get into this. Another thing. People were also potentially mad that they didn't make it more obvious that Eren saw all these memories 4 years ago when he kissed Historia's hand. But then if you scroll down to where they cut the episode, like the next line is Eren specifically saying that. So I think that'll be addressed next episode. But that was another big criticism.
I mean, from watching some of the reaction stuff, some of the reactors seem to have gauged that.
Yeah.
You know what though? The funny thing that got me was that I had sort of put out of my mind that scene with Kruger talking about Mikasa and Armin. So the memories of the future actually hit a lot harder, but a lot of the reactors were like, "Yeah, I already theorized this was a thing because of
because
such
they
and such."
did the Falco stuff, because Falco sees memories. Well, I guess they are memories of the past, but I think a lot of people assume they were memories of the future because they were like, "Oh, this means Falco is obviously going to get a Titan later." I watched the Normie specifically, and I think they confused those things of like the reveal that the Titan can see the future memories. They didn't really react at all to that. They were just like, "Yeah, we already know this," which is
there's
not
been a
supposed to be.
few reactors that have been like that, and I'm like, that's kind of wild because when I read it, now obviously I read it years apart. A lot of reactors have jumped on the bandwagon, so they'll have like blitzed through seasons 1 to 3 right up to season 4. So a lot of it will still be fresh. But when I read it, there was a lot of stuff that wasn't fresh. I'm fairly certain.
I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be a reveal, right? I guess we can look at chat and they'll call us idiots if we've got this wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is supposed to be a reveal.
But I mean, it's an Isayama reveal in the way that, you know, it's not necessarily the surprise of the actual reveal, but what it means. Like, I'm sure was it you who brought this up when talking about like the Reiner and Bertolt reveal? Like, it wasn't meant to be that big a surprise because Reiner looks like the Armored Titan and Bertolt looks a bit like the Colossus Titan.
Well, he's the tall one, so. But even though
that's
necessarily
you're meant to know how else would Kruger see Mikasa and Armin, but that's the thing. It's setting up the seed for it. But by the time this came around, if you were reading chapter per chapter, that would have been years apart. You'd have probably forgotten, or at least it would be in the very back of your mind rather than a.
I'm just looking at chat. The reveal is that it's the Attack Titan only. Yeah, that's part of the reveal, that it's like because each Titan has its special power, but it always seemed like Eren's didn't really.
The purpose for having that is so it can resist the crown resist.
I also because you are go ahead.
I was gonna say it's interesting that is part of it, but it's like Ymir never rebelled or never tried to resist, so it's interesting that was still a part of her Titan, which I guess kind of ties into the thing that Isayama tried to convey, albeit not very well, that Ymir was like in love with the king and didn't like that whole thing's messy. It's not something
we'll talk about this at a later date.
Yeah.
Because going off your point of like the anime, like sometimes you put things out of your mind and the anime like reveals them again, and you're like, oh, and then a bunch of things click in your head. That happened with me a lot with like sort of the thematic conflict here of like. I remember, because again, I'm kind of repeating myself from what I said on stream yesterday, except we're saying it much better today. The moment where Zeke hears Frida and is like, I'm kind of down with this chick. She's got the right idea. I remember when I first read it thinking that was like the weirdest line ever and how it didn't really make sense. And like it just immediately clicked. Like Frida wants the Eldians to take the burden, so does Zeke through euthanasia, whereas Eren is very much firmly on the extreme opposite end of no. They will take the burden. We will prioritize ourselves. Just sort of setting up that thematic conflict of like who's we're sort of on opposite extremes, and then the scouts and sort of Grisha are more in the middle.
Yeah,
some
no,
things
I'm
like
looking
that
at one of the Frida panels, and she looks a lot more sane. She looks a lot
yeah.
less cult-like in the panel where she's going, so long as we remain ignorant and accept the world's rage, we Eldians will be the only ones who have to die.
This is in the anime, but again, I think it's a little more played into in the manga. There's a very obvious conflict within Frida here. Everything, like, I remember there's the one shot I think it's at the end, or maybe it's...
I think the anime did a much better job of showing her like with the king's will taking over,
yes.
like the way the eyes change color in the anime. Like that's
the
like
color,
as much as I love the black and white of manga, it's inevitably easier to depict that in.
Well, I don't even know if that was a thing in the manga, right? I think that was something that they started doing in like season 3 with part 1, where they basically made it that the founding titan activated has different eye color, whereas it's just kind of the shape in the manga, obviously, because there's no color. But yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, you can see that. If, I'll get it up on mine. So it's almost like the detail level.
Yeah.
I guess. Like just like how Isayama's drawn it, she's got like
the shading is a little different. It is a different color.
Yeah. What's chat saying? Specifically, what's your chat saying?
My chat. There's no scene where
Kruger set up the mystery.
No, there's the scene where Frida freaks out at Historia to go past the fence. On the Frida thing, real quick. Just I kind of like Frida. She's always seems conflicted, and again, I think this is a little bit more reflected in the manga chapter here. But I always think of the shot. I don't know when it is, but Eren remembers a shot of her like sitting near the fence. Historia isn't in this shot, but she's just sort of like grabbing her head, clearly like she's very conflicted because her and Yuri before they get the power, they agree with Rod. They tell Rod like, yes, when I get the power, I won't just sit around and do nothing. I will go and kill the Titans or whatever. But when they come out, they've got the eyes, and they.
And I think there is that. I think again, both Isayama, all memes aside about his drawing ability, really captured that sort of sadness of like just having their will. They're they're knowingly having their will sort of stripped away when they take the power. That look on their face. I think Rod talks about it when Yuri first arose from when he appeared after consuming their father, he could see straight away that the vow had taken hold.
He does specifically have that line. Yeah, I'm remembering that now. Another thing, just the you got something?
Yeah, I was just looking at this comment from Miller. I think it's interesting. This probably hasn't always been an Attack Titan thing. It only exists because Eren and Zeke come in contact here. I mean, my theory, how I've been thinking about it, is that the Attack Titan power of seeing the future isn't really because it's the weird time thing, because Eren technically has existed throughout the entire 2,000 years now, because when he comes in contact with when he becomes the founder, he then sort of sees over everything. So I wonder if the Attack Titan power isn't the only reason it has it is because it's Eren who chooses to send those memories back to previous Attack Titans.
I think there's actually two
whilst
things
from the future.
That could be a thing. I think there's two things. I think part of it is that Eren is mixing Titan powers, so he has like multiple, because I don't know if they've ever said in history if other characters have had multiple. The second thing is, I think it might more so be, and I might be wrong here, that Eren is the last Attack Titan, so everybody can see up to his memories or whatever, but he has them all because he's the last one. Now, obviously, at this moment, anime-onlys don't know Eren is the last Attack Titan. But sort of how it all ends with him. So it's always been him is more so like the Eren's drive or whatever has existed in all the Attack Titans previously. Um, but
Yeah, but
maybe
what I
I'm
mean
off.
is like because when Aaron says that his head's all screwed up because he's basically existing in all periods of time once he sort of gains the founder's power, unlocks the
Yeah,
founder's power.
that is
Like he
founding
talks
stuff.
about how it was him how he sent Dinah to or
Yeah.
he stopped Dinah from killing Bertolt and all that. So I
Oh.
wonder if like the Attack Titan's power comes from Eren. So rather than it being some genetic thing that the Attack Titan gets off of Ymir, it's future
Yeah.
Eren choosing to send those memories back all the way down the chain as necessary. And that's
Yeah.
where the perception of the power comes from rather than anything else because it's Eren at the end of the fixed time loop
Yeah. Yeah.
sending everything back to make sure everything happens.
There was, before I forget, there was another thing we talked about with Grisha yesterday about how it could be orchestrated by Eren to get Grisha away from the family so that Carla can die and Grisha can go and do what he needs to do with the Race family, because he obviously leaves with Eren and Zeke. So it could be the case that Eren, to orchestrate both Carla's death so younger him would be traumatized, he has to get Grisha out of there, and that's why Grisha goes on the boat, and like he only gets the news once they get off the boat, and the specific timing of all that that could have somehow been
Yeah.
orchestrated by Eren also. That was a cute little thing.
I think like it definitely puts into context a lot why Eren is such a fucking gloomy
Yeah,
bastard once he actually gets the Founder's power and starts perceiving everything.
I
Uh,
I wonder.
because that's always something I think was always pointed out as like I think some people on like various subreddits pointed that as like a character inconsistency, the fact that
Yeah,
Eren seems so fucking determined throughout all of it, despite seeing the future. But obviously like the difference between him seeing glimpses of the future and we already knew that he wanted to kill everyone anyway, like
yeah,
he's said as much and it was very clear from his character up to that point that he would 100% be the type of person to unleash the rumbling regardless of whether that
yeah.
was
He would have done it
intended or not.
anyway, is I
but
believe
yeah
the
one
line.
but yeah once he comes in contact with the founder and the full realization of everything and how it's been leading up and the realization that he's been a slave the whole time,
Yeah, there's
slave to his own fate. Interesting. It's less of a character flaw than I think people, or less
yeah.
of a writing flaw than I think people think it is.
Um, There was another thing, because I think we were talking about this in terms of like a conflict in Eren's character as well yesterday, was the fact that he continues to say, like, I've always been like this. And they reiterate to the final panel thing of Grisha holding Eren as he's born and saying, you are free, as if that sort of set Eren's personality or agenda in stone from the beginning, to where he is kind of not controlled, but then he kind of always has been controlled through the like time slave, him controlling himself through the
Mm-hmm.
future type thing. If I think about that more, maybe that is the point about Eren's character, is sort of these inherent conflicts, or inconsistencies. But hopefully, I think about that a little bit before I make this goddamn fucking ending video part 2. But
Our father, our father didn't make me that way. I've always been
yes,
like this since
yes.
birth. Yeah, it's
Um,
someone tries to steal my freedom away, I won't hesitate to take
yeah.
theirs.
The I think that's we got other things to talk about. Can you think of any other scenes? We didn't exactly go
I'm
chronologically,
just
but
I'm just sort of scrolling through. I think the anime, like even though I think it could have had the stuff with Eren chasing after the founder. I still think it ended on a good shot with like
yeah.
the close up of Eren.
It caught me off guard. I was kind of sucked in. I was like, oh, it's already over. Yeah, and I don't think I've been like that for any of the other
Mm.
episodes. So, bravo, I guess. Oh,
But yeah,
about the
something I saw being memed on like TikTok and stuff. How fucking ripped Zeke is in the anime. Like in the
yes,
manga, he's pretty ripped, but the anime just
the anime is
like that
always
man
really.
has never had a glass of water.
um, it's just sort of something I
You
touched
know
on.
what? The
All right.
censorship as well was kind of wild.
Now
But
I
then
was
again, they probably had to make up brownie points after the decap scene
Now, I was actually going to bring this up
from.
because if you look in the preview, they actually have some of this scene in the preview, so it's possible that it's not censored. It's just in the next episode. No, not Miller. Minty pointed this out to me. That if you look at the next episode preview, it does have shots of Grisha and Frida fighting. So I don't think it'll be this
You're right actually because
extreme.
I saw the preview. I saw the preview before I saw the episode because you know
Ah,
how it is. Little bits of the episode get spliced up and put on YouTube before it releases,
okay.
because they'll have recorded it off the Japanese. So I saw the preview before I saw the episode, and I saw, yeah, you're right. I saw Grisha and Frida, and I was like, wait,
So they
how
didn't.
much? What is in
Yeah,
this chapter? Because that happens pretty soon. So
yeah. So
Yeah, it's kind of what.
let's not write off the censorship yet. Maybe they'll come through again. They've been lots of blood in this season. More than the first part, I think, definitely.
Yeah, and again, like the decapitation scene, they basically didn't hold back. It was very quick. Like they sped it up a lot to have it on screen for as little time as possible. And I imagine that was potentially a compromise to allow them to have it in full view without.
I mean, we did get the head twirling off
You
and
know,
everything. I think it was on screen for a decent amount of time.
Yeah, but what I mean is, I feel like considering like everything had obviously been super slow up to that point, and then it's so visceral, so sudden, so
Yeah.
instant. Like the way they approached it, like I think in the way the shock value is built up in the manga, because obviously in the manga, because it's at a static pace, you will stop and stare at that panel for a while, just being
especially
because
like, it's the last page.
But the anime. Yeah, but the anime, you don't really have that time to think because it just all happens so quickly. But you do see it happen. It's great. Again, as a react, as someone who enjoys watching the React Bros, it was it was quite an entertaining one to watch.
Yeah, I've still only seen the one. But yeah. Looking to next week, I think we're relatively done with this. We obviously get the big chapter next week. I'm nervous. I have a hesitant confidence in them now that I thought would have been impossible. If you had asked me 5 weeks ago if I would be confident that they would do the Ymir chapter well, I would have called you a lunatic. But here we are. So I'm relatively excited. Hopefully my heightened expectations don't bite me in the ass. But yes.
One thing that I think is very important is we need to hope that the shot of Ymir watching that couple getting married, like the significance of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a full page, almost a full page thing, but not a double spread, but just like
it is. It's the title page, isn't it? Oh no, it's not. I really like the beginning here. I just don't think they can do it. There's no way. I really liked. I actually talked about this yesterday about how important the first pages are in sort of chapters because it's been a month and it sort of lets you know what the chapter is going to be. Because I remember opening this chapter for the first time and being like, oh my god, it's fucking happening. You realize we're talking about a Ymir, you see the title and it's like, holy fuck. Is this the last fucking chapter? What the fuck? And you scroll through and it's some old-timey bullshit. We're back in time and we are seeing the founder. It's fucking real sick.
I wonder if they'll do anything interesting with the art style because it's such a even though it is just a memory, I guess, or a flashback scene. I would be interested to see if they do anything interesting in terms of its direction. And I wonder if we'll see more Ymir destruction.
Yeah,
because her Titan is great and does not get enough screen time in the manga.
It is cool looking. Now, two things. The leaks have said that they are adding some stuff here. Now, hopefully it's just sort of general violence things and not anything too substantive. I guess I'm begging for filler with what I'm saying here, but yes. Also, in the preview, there is one shot of old Eldian-looking blokes riding on horses. I think it is the scene where they are chasing Ymir through the forest, Ramsay style from Game of Thrones. It looks generally the same sort of art style as the
I wonder how they're going to do Ymir's daughters eating her corpse, because that scene is visceral as fuck.
Even the page before this where he's cutting her hand off is even more visceral, I think. But this shot has already been in the anime, don't forget.
It has, although it was in a very sort of artistic sort of style. What I mean is, if we want to put this in the visceral reality, I cannot wait to see all the videos of people going back and watching the ED from fucking... It was season 2, wasn't it? The season 2 ED.
Before we even knew what it knew. Before us and the Know even knew what we were looking at. I'm trying to scroll down
this scene here, I hope is real. The scene you're looking at, I hope is really fucking good. The Ymir rising from the...
Yeah. It's a really cool shot, and she is giant. But yes, the little part here of the hand getting chopped off and the motion in this bit here, there's probably a little bit of a delay. And sort of the king becoming more and more deranged and sort of decrepit and gross. I like it.
I want to see. I really hope they get a good voice actor for him, because even stuff like the "What are you doing?" Rise. I know that no mere spear can kill you. Just because the way they do the flashback is you don't see anyone's eyes or anything. You have to just sort of make assumptions. He just looks like... He doesn't look like insane. He just looks kind of... I'm trying to think of the best word.
It's a very Attack on Titan thing. He feels like sort of standoffish, like guarded sort of way. I've talked about this scene a lot, and a lot of people call me an apologist for this dude, because I say that maybe he did care about her in this moment more so than just an extension of his power. Yeah, there's something about this scene that is very nuanced. Nuanced is sort of a cringe word, but it's very like there's layers to it. I think. The only thing now that I'm thinking
it
about
doesn't need him going nuts. Him just sort of sitting there, almost like matter of factly, like it's more of a sort of irritation that she's dead because he just in his mind just cannot even fathom the idea that someone like Ymir could die.
Yeah.
So it's not like almost like not hit in.
Yeah, it's kind of like a delay reaction type thing because the kids are crying. This page specifically.
Her daughters are, yeah.
All right.
I was gonna say her daughters are devastated.
Yeah. Which is crazy because they then made it eat her. But the shot here, sort of the distant shot of him from underneath, and then the more close-up shot, kind of gets that across of like the shock sort of in him that this could happen. Because obviously she could regenerate from this, but I think he looks down on her and realizes she's not coming back. It's the whole thing.
Yeah. Maybe hoping for an escape. From the spear. I don't know. Again, there is the arguments about the love and the Stockholm.
Yeah.
Because she does look like she does have like quite a lot of determination.
I think
to try and save him.
I think more than a general love, I think it might just be that it might tie into the Zeke. Now we're getting into speculation about rationalizing the ending, but I think it might get into the Zeke thing of like finding purpose. She had a purpose, a reason to live through like serving the king, and she liked that. And then through Mikasa, she has to learn to get a different purpose, as Mikasa does. But that's a fucking. We'll talk about that in future videos, I'm sure.
What's chat saying? The preview's pretty good, not gonna lie. Next episode animation looks fantastic. It's a miracle we saw Eren's head coming off. I still can't believe it. If you look at the preview, the atmosphere of the flashback feels kind of grim, and the colors feel. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like maybe like the cut, maybe everything would be a little washed out.
Yeah.
Or sort of like that grim, because it's like it's a very fucking grim time, because it's like it's 2,000 years. But it's like.
Yeah. I'm very open to art style, anything being a little bit different. Another thing I wanted to point out, because again, the only reaction I did watch was the normies reaction. And I was for sure when I was watching it by myself that like this is the moment that every anime only has to think is the Eren heel turn. Heel turn in wrestling is when a character turns bad, kind of officially. I'm like, there's no way, like, because it's so visceral and Eren, like, made Grisha kill the fucking kids and everything. Like, this, and he looks so evil when he's whispering in his ear. Like, this has to be the moment where everybody goes, fuck Eren, but the normies would double down and they were like, nah, I think I'm more on Eren's side than ever. I was like, okay.
I think they'll get to a point though. Wait till they see the rumbling animated. Then we'll wait till they see little Ramsey getting
his head stomped in.
Getting his head stomped. Yeah. I mean, I watch a bunch of them. They do vary. There's like variation on thinking that Eren has just gone to gone completely off the rails. Some thought they were already there. There's been a surprising amount of nuance in the anime only react fandom that I've been appreciating.
They don't seem.
But again, I watched like quite a lot of them.
Yeah. They don't seem to be very poisoned by sort of like the manga conversation. Like I don't see a lot of them bringing up that like they've heard that the ending is bad. I've actually been seeing a lot of tweets very recently about like very condescending pro ending tweets with like 3K or like 5K likes. It's been kind of interesting because it'll just be like, you know, when Twitter does this annoying thing where it's like, this person is talking about this topic and it's not somebody you follow, they're just like advertising a tweet to you. I've seen a lot of them in the Attack on Titan topic that have been like, actually, Mikasa, this is a great panel. Mikasa didn't betray herself by putting the scarf back on or whatever. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not the only one out here, but it's kind of cute. So I think it was generally overblown how many people dislike the ending.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like again, I think with the anime onlys as well, there's a bit of an advantage where they don't have to wait a month to speculate and stew on what's happening next.
And like, they don't get to get into fights on Reddit constantly about Eren and get jaded and yeah. And
also, I guess as well, maybe a part of it, they know that obviously the entire anime is basically, you know, they've animated it, it's all been done. They know that there's gonna they almost know that like a plan has been made. But with the manga, we were very much like waiting month on month for Isayama to just come up with it a lot of the time. Like I'm sure he had some initial, had initial stuff ready, but you know, there was that month of just speculating and everyone sort of fighting in the dirt, trying to work out what's going to happen. And a month is a long time for something like that.
I'm just looking now. One potential issue with the next, we're probably going to get a lot of this ugly eye shading thing that the anime likes to do, and because all of the eyes aren't shown, this will probably be on an extreme. I'll have to get over it. I think every shot is going to be this. I like that even Ymir's face in the Titan is all like skeletonized, and like you don't even see her eyes there. It's a cool little motif, and even in this shot here, it's still a skeleton. I guess it's always a skeleton. She's very skeletal because her ribs are out everywhere. And even like her legs here, if you look.
Screen for everyone.
I guess I've never really looked at the Titan too closely, but yeah, like her leg here thing, I think there's nothing here. Very skeletal. Which obviously Eren's Titan is eventually very skeletal too. Literally all bones.
It's very cool.
Yes, I do like it a lot. I do still
Maybe
think...
Ymir's just lazy and can be bothered building herself a proper body.
This shot too.
There's actually so much love for the on Twitter for the ending, which is nice. The ending hater clowns getting ratio left and right. Don't get me wrong, I love seeing the like. It depends why people hate the ending. Like I like it when like the neo-Nazi Attack on Titan fans get ratioed on Twitter for hating the ending. That's really funny. Like basically anything from Titan folk getting ratioed is hilarious. Like I can understand dissatisfaction with parts of the ending because like at the end of the day, it was still, even with the extra pages, it still felt a bit rushed.
Well, that's like your opinion.
Excited to see Centipede things.
I get what you mean. I'm now remembering the specific tweet I saw. It was about the Eren incel page that I defended even harshly at the time, where it was Eren freaking out about the idea of Mikasa with a different dude. The tweet had that page, and it was like, this is actually a great character moment for Eren and not him being an incel at all. And I was like, go on, brother, go on. But yeah.
This is a scene that I cannot wait to see. Just the start of Hear Me, All Subjects of Ymir, where it just, I really hope the anime doesn't have like some big flashy, transition into past. Like I really hope that it literally just goes from them being in Shingansha to them not to them being in past. Like just instant. That I think has to be like spot on.
I think like a flash and like no sound effect, just like a flash, and it like flicks on and on like a light, like a faulty light a few times. That would be really cool. That being said, the battery's getting a little...
I wonder what Eren... I wonder if Eren's going to get... I wonder if they're gonna mess with the audio for Eren's voice actor when he's in paths
what
and
is his
talking for the
Titan
Titan to sound.
Yeah. I'm mildly excited. I'm not downtrodden. I'm ready. This manga volume is still really cool. The Mikasa one ahead of all the Colossals. At the beginning of 123.
31's a really good one.
I jinxed
like 32's a bit whatever. 33 I thought was phenomenal, and 34 was beautiful. So
I don't remember 32 or 33. I must admit.
So 32
Hold on,
is
I can
like
do
the
4
resistance.
plus, and I can see it. Yeah, I think I remember now. If we go to 27, no, there must have been. I think I've counted wrong. It'll be the next one, I think. But I did just get a warning that the battery is going flat, so we've got about 5 minutes. Maybe the volume covers aren't on this website yet, but I remember the
it should be.
The irresistable. Well, I close the tab now. So if they are, they're gone forever in for this stream at least. Any closing thoughts? Because we do have to wrap things up here.
Yeah.
We're excited for next week.
Attack on Titan's been popping off. It's wild. Like after what I think was maybe a bit of a shaky start for season 4.
Oh, with the recap stuff, I remember you not liking that too much.
Yeah, I did have an issue with that. I was like, but that was originally when I didn't think we were getting a movie. So I was like, I was just sort of sat there like, we do not have time for this. It's an issue I've been having with Demon Slayer as well. You should watch Demon Slayer, by the way. It's phenomenal.
I should watch a lot of things. But yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm on your side. I can't believe it. I'm down with the anime. I'm very much liking season 4.
I knew it would happen. It would happen eventually.
Yeah. I've been saying this a lot, that like the part 2s are always good, even though I don't really like the part 1s. That seems to be consistent. Because season 3, part 3.
Yeah, you weren't I take it you weren't much of a big fan of season 3, part 1.
No.
Either.
We're skipping through my favoriteest stuff. Not my favoriteest stuff, but stuff I really like in the Uprising arc. But
yeah, having gone back to it, I feel like as far as seasons go, it's possible. I mean, I don't know if it's as weak as season 1, part 1. Season 1, part 1 has a lot of filler in it.
Do you like part 1 is in like the first 13 episodes, or?
Yeah, before the female Titan arc. I mean, the female Titan arc has filler as well, but it's not as...
Yeah, the season 1 has a bit of filler in there. I don't know. I haven't actually...
I rank season 2... I mean, it's hard for me to get. I mean, I tend to rank season 2. Oh, that is, I don't want Telegram messages showing up. How do I?
Uh-oh.
Let's just close
Are
that.
you going to say season 2 at the top or at the bottom?
Near the top. Season 2 is
Yeah.
always like the Clash of Titans arc in the manga was always like one of my favorites. The Reiner Bertolt reveal,
Yeah.
the fight to get Eren back from them, like Erwin losing his arm.
Yeah, that's all cool stuff. The that season does have
Obviously
one.
Ymir at that at that
Yeah,
point Ymir was one of my favorite characters as well. Before they didn't really do much with her
yeah.
after that arc.
The that season does have that one filler episode too. I'm just remembering that
Which
now.
one? Which one was the filler
There's the
episode?
one where they do the flashback where with Ryan, with not Reiner, with Eren, Mikasa, and Armin, where they're all kids. Where in the manga it's just one panel, but in that episode it's like half the episode is just them getting in a fight. It's like remembering the good old days with Hannes. I think it's like episode 8.
Oh,
Do you remember what I'm talking about now?
I think so. Are you on about after he's died or before?
No, did I say season
Because after
1?
he's died, there's like
Oh no, Hannes you're talking about dying, right?
Thanos, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's much before that. It's when he like shows back up again and
Right,
reunites
okay.
with Mikasa and
Right.
Aaron
Oh, I think I know what you're on about. When they're on the top of the wall
yes,
reminiscing
and they're
before they
like
set
eaten.
off. Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
get what you mean.
they dramatically eat those bar
And they
things.
did extend it as well because the Ymir flashback happens there rather than
Yeah,
at the end of Return to Shiganshina. You know what? I think that worked, just as a side note. I thought that actually worked because there was enough mystery there that you had no fucking idea what was going on. If you
yeah,
paid attention, you're like, hang on, that stuff looks way too modern to be.
yeah. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like a big reread and rewatch of everything is very much in order for me to get updated thoughts about these things. But I remember not liking it at the
I'll be
time.
doing a
But
reread
yeah.
at some point.
Now that we Discord call, we could make a video series about it if we reread it or something. But that's an idea
Yeah.
for a long way down.
Attack on Titan book club.
Yes, we'll get Bacon involved. One special chatter a week or something. We'll do a raffle. I don't know. But the laptop is going flat, so we do have to end things off here. Wait,
Okay,
how
no
do we?
worries.
These are going up on both YouTube channels. How do we do an outro? Do I
I
just
mean,
do
I
my
was probably
outro?
going to outro my stream.
Yeah.
You do your outro. I'll probably do my outro
Should
for my
we
stream afterwards.
should we end the
'cause-
call then and do our individual outros?
Yeah, it's probably worth a shot, worth a shout.
Well, Mr. R, I
So
think
it
this
was
was
good to speak to
successful. I
you.
think we had some fun here.
Yeah,
We probably
I'm
will
down
do
to
it
do it again
next week,
after the next
right?
episode. Maybe plan ahead of time though.
Yes. Not so impromptu, but all right. I'll see you whenever I stream next, or at least next week.
Yeah. See you later.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
All right, chat. That was fun, right? I'm fucking sweating. I'll tell you what. This car is fucking fuming. It's an hour and a half later. Streams usually go by so fast, and it goes even faster when you're talking to somebody. But that was a fun time. Now I think we're done with this, at least for the YouTube video. So for the YouTube audience, hopefully you enjoyed this. It's a day late. We should be back next week on time. Yeah, but with that being said, support links in the description below. Thanks.